Good morning, and a beautiful and interesting morning with that cloud cover and the fog setting up out there. Welcome back. Hope you enjoy your day. Now, we are talking about HIV and AIDS and how important it is to do the testing. I am joined by Sebastian Payan from Vancouver Coastal Health. Sebastian, you are going to implement the test for me, and also by Valerie Nicholson. Valerie, you're from the Canadian Aboriginal AIDS Network, and you're also living with HIV, correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how important this this information is to get out there. Is it still difficult to get people to come in and take a test for HIV?
I believe it is, and by doing this here today to show that it's very easy and to break the stigma and discrimination that a lot of us live with HIV.
Okay, now in your community specifically, do you find that it's even more difficult per se, a greater stigma wrapped around HIV and AIDS?
Yeah, we're finding that we're having a higher infection rate, and we're also finding that it's really hard to get the information out to rural areas.
Okay, and I guess that must be difficult because you have fewer health workers as you get into smaller communities anywhere across the country, and fewer people like you to spread the message. Now, how long have you been living with HIV?
I think it's been around 14 years now.
Okay, how has it changed? How have you seen things change over that 14 years?
It was very difficult for me in the beginning living with HIV because I was living a very different lifestyle at that time, and being homeless and not having access to good health care and even food. It was very difficult for me to actually survive, but thanks to a lot of nurses that were really well educated and getting me my medications. And today it's just 2 pills a day.
So the medication has even changed. Well, let's do the test here, Sebastian. Speaking of medical professionals, Sebastian, do you do many of these tests?
Yeah, well, I work at the clinic at Himon Davy, who is a specialist with gay men, and they can come and have the test. It's easy, it's fast, and it's anonymous, so they just can come to the test and have the results right away.
And just to clarify, of course, HIV and AIDS affects and can affect absolutely anybody in our community.
Yeah. All the population can be affected by HIV. We have some communities that are more affected, but everybody can contract HIV for sure.
Okay, we're about ready for the test. There we go. Now, Valerie, you're also a diabetic, I understand?
Yes, I am.
And how does taking your HIV medication compare to managing your diabetes?
HIV is really easy. I just take 2 pills a day in the morning. Diabetes is much more difficult because it's like blood tests 3 times a day or sometimes 4 times a day, watching what I eat, my exercise, where with HIV it's blood tests once every 3 months.
Do you have to manage your health per se, living with HIV, as far as exposure to colds, flus, anything like that, or it's very little of a concern now with the new medications that we have?
Well, sometimes we get sicker a little easier.
Okay.
So by taking great care of my health, then I don't have to face those problems.
Fantastic. Do you travel around to spread the message? Because you're doing a wonderful job here.
Yes, I will be speaking in Ottawa at the Parliamentary Breakfast on the 29th, but I was just in Australia as their keynote speaker, speaking there on HIV and AIDS from the Canadian perspective. And yeah, I do travel all over the world just to really educate.
Well, you're doing a great job. Thanks so much. We've done the test here. The test results would only take a matter of...
2 seconds. I just have to pour these little bottles into the test, and I can tell you the result.
And that's the end of it. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for coming in. If you have the opportunity, make sure to get your HIV test.